Proactive normal trap card that doesn't destroy. I'll take that any day of the week. So Sundered from Overroot is a normal trap card that reads, target one card your opponent controls and one card in their graveyard, send that card on the field to the grave, and if you do set that other card from the graveyard to your opponent's field, you can only activate one Sundered from Overroot per turn. The card is quite self-explanatory, right? It just makes your opponent lose one card on the field and gives them back a card from the graveyard to the field while setting it. So yeah, this card is theoretically a -1 when you want to look at it that way, but it actually gets a little more complicated than that when you start looking at the second part of the effect. First things first, I think we can all agree on the fact that sending a card your opponent controls to the graveyard is ridiculously good, and it doesn't destroy, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a monster. It sends, so it bypasses a lot of really annoying conditions, like monsters that can't be destroyed by card effects, or that actually get effects when they're being destroyed, and of course, it doesn't just cover monsters, it also covers a lot of spells and traps, well, obviously every single card. So in other words, whether your opponent has a floodgate that is a spell or trap, or floodgate that is a monster, doesn't matter, this card can always deal with pretty much anything. With that being said, even setting back a card from your opponent's graveyard to the field can actually hurt your opponent for a few reasons. A really basic example would be a card like Fairy Tale Snow that summons itself back from the graveyard, quick effect, whatever, or not even quick effect. You can chain Sundered from Overroot, send your opponent's card to the graveyard, and then revive back the Fairy Tale Snow, but it won't be summoned with its own effect, be summoned face up and then Book of Moon a card. So you're going to make your opponent have wasted 7 cards in total, being banished, and the Fairy Tale Snow will be set, so it won't be able to flip a monster face down, and you were able to do all of that with one card. So make your opponent lose one card, and then make your opponent not have access to Fairy Tale Snow's Book of Mooning effect, while also making him pay all the cost for the card. And on top of that, Fairy Tale Snow cannot be used as a Link, Synchro, or Xyz material that turn, because monsters that are summoned cannot be flipped manually the turn they are summoned. And even against Eldritch, this card might actually have some form of utility. So let's just say your opponent has Conquistador, Hakuero with a Floodgate, and another card on the field with Eldritch, the Golden Lord, and the graveyard. Again, one single Sundered from Overroot is really good here, because your opponent uses the effect of Eldritch, and then you chain Sundered from Overroot, set the Eldritch, the Golden Lord, into the field instead of letting it summon itself. So the Conquistador and Hakuero will be dead, and you were able to counter a Floodgate your opponent had on top of that. So much value with one card if you time it well. And the super funny thing about this card is how disgusting it is against Burning Abyss. So you make your opponent lose the Beatrice, it will not summon Purple Pilgrim, because the Beatrice wasn't destroyed. Again, it was sent. That's what I said at the very beginning of the video. And you're reviving back a Burning Abyss monster face down, or basically just any other card, which is dreadful for the Burning Abyss strategy, because if you control a non-BA on the field, including just any set monsters, because they do not have an identity, the BA monsters will immediately die, so you can also use this card's second effect as a semi-floodgate. You don't believe me? Let me give you that example. Your opponent is playing Sky Striker, and he has Shizuku with Rain Grave, and a bunch of Widow Anchors and multi-roll, whatever, Shark Cannon, literally everything. Again, one single Sundered from Overroot does so much, and you no longer have to be afraid of Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon, because there's a monster clogging the main monster zone. And again, your opponent cannot use the effect of Ray because it's face down. And even against other kind of control decks, for example, like Salamangreat, this card is still really good because you bypass the protection that Veilings gives you because you're sending a card and you're not destroying it. So again, you're just getting so much value off of being able to send monsters. But on top of that, you can actually chain this to, like, let's say the effect of Jaguar in the graveyard or Spinny, and then revive back that monster face down instead of letting it revive itself back face up. So you make your opponent lose a card while also making him lose an extender. The beauty about this card is that the first part of the effect is always beneficial, you can't disagree with that, but even the second part of the effect can be beneficial depending on how you use it. So this card definitely can work as a 2-for-1 package deal if you use it very well, so it really rewards proper and good gameplay, unlike, degenerate cards like Floodgates, and this is why I think that this card is actually super healthy. My only real issue with this card is the fact that it's once per turn, because if it wasn't, I would have actually said that this card would have been tier 0, but it is what it is. Still though, this card is fantastic and I'd most likely play it in Cyber Dragons because, why not? It has so much versatility and I'm pretty down to, add more good traps to that deck any day of the week. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I really want to hear them. Do you really think that Sundered from Overroot is a great card? Do you think it's going to have a lot of impact in the TCG metagame long term? I want to hear your guys' answers. And that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.